important that we get these microbes back into our soil, whether you've ignored your soil in the past or used chemicals. It's not too late. All we need to do is get the diversity back into the soil, and they will return the ecosystem to the way Mother Nature intended. What that will result in is that you are going to be growing healthier food for yourself, for your family. It's going to have higher nutrient density. It's also going to have those microbial residues that you want to replenish in your system. And last but not least is that you can feel good every day. You're using a technique that is proven to pull carbon out of the air where it doesn't belong, where we need so much less of it, and you're pulling it into the plant, ultimately into the roots, down into the soil, where it is going to stay for a long, long time, where we need it to grow healthy future generations. So that's my presentation. I'm going to wrap it up there. I always am happy for folks to reach out to me. My email's there, jocelyn@wastenotfarms.com. Please follow us on the socials, of course. I do have a discount code. If anybody wants to give the product a try, just head over to soilbooster.ca and you can use the discount code TUG, T-U-G, all capitals, to get 10% off. However, it does expire at midnight. So it is a limited time offer. And now, but before you all rush to the website, we do want to give a bag away. So maybe I will look to Colleen and ask Colleen if we're ready to do that giveaway.
I see a bunch of people just left, so I have to double check that before I do that. But I wanted to draw your attention. There is a very large conversation about weeds going on the Q&A. So I'm going to get you started in on that conversation. So before I start with the questions all around weeding, I just want to say thank you to Jeff, because he's been offering advice to many people that have been asking. So the first question came from Maria. By minimized tillage, are you also referring to weeding? And then the next question was from Brenda. How far down can you dig without damage? Because sometimes you need to dig to get the weeds out. And the last one around weeds is, should we then leave weeds alone?
Well, I'm glad somebody else suggested that, because I didn't want to be the bearer of bad news here. But the old saying goes, a weed is just a plant that hasn't learned to grow in a straight line, right? There's something to be said for leaving weeds where you can. And it does come down to the fact that they are providing a useful service. They're providing protection of the soil. They're providing sugars into the root ecosystem. They're feeding the microbes that are there, that are hungry. What we do at our farm, rather than do weeding, is we apply a mulch. Now, we are lucky, we're very lucky in that we have ample materials to use as a mulch. And I realize not everyone's in that position. But what we do when we have weeds is we apply a bunch of wood chips. You could use straw as well. And we just pat the weeds down so that we're not actually digging them up at all. They're just they're staying there. We're trying to smother them is really what we're doing, but we're certainly not ripping them out of the ground, which is where you're going to, break up all that nice soil structure that's developed, and you're going to effectively be hurting your soil. So I completely recognize that there's a lot of people that won't ever be a non-weeder, that they just can't bear the thought of weeds. But where and when you can, leave the weeds. Or another option is to try and grow something that might outcompete the weeds. So, depending on your situation, it would depend on, the type of soil and what else you're growing. But some people have been very successful with high density planting. So, when you read on the seed packet, for example, for beets or something, it says, thin your beets to, 10 inches or something. Well, there's something to be said for not following the rules on the seed packet and planting your crops much more densely. Because if and when you do that, you're going to have a lot less empty soil space where those weeds want to move in. Weeds really only move in when there's nothing else there that is doing that job of protecting the soil. So I'm sorry to the people that are die-hard weeders. This will take a little bit of getting used to.
The next question I have, unless you're ready for the draw.
Sure. Yeah. Why don't we do the draw? I see you sent me. So Colleen has randomly selected using a special software that randomly selects names. And the winner of tonight's bag of soil booster is Lee Adamson. Congratulations. Thank you for attending. And if you would like to put your address either into the chat or you can send it to, email it to me directly.
Oh, wait a second.
Is she gone?
Yep, they just left.
Ooh,
Sorry about that, folks. I
invited my friend here to do that webinar. So Sunday recommended me to come here. I'm with St. Jamestown Community, and I really appreciate what you did. But I know Lynn Adamson from Climate Fast, was using her sister's computer. And, you know, I asked her to come because we're doing a 3-part webinar on climate change and soil. So it's like, yeah, and I've got a little garden going in front of her house. So I don't know if she heard the announcement, maybe she didn't, but if you
we were just announcing
that,
it, and then I saw her blinked off. So because she's not here, I have to redraw.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
because she could really promote you during the webinar.
But I have to have a way to reach her, and I have no contact.
Well, I can tell you, I can totally vouch for her. Is what I'm trying to say.
Why don't we do 2? I'm happy. Let's do a second draw. Sounds like Lee's someone who would really appreciate it. So Petra, what I do need you to do is to put some contact information for Lee into the chat.
Absolutely.
So whether it's her phone number or address or email, and then Colleen, if you want to feed me the next question and then work on running a second giveaway.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, sorry. Do you want to just send it directly to me in the chat there, Petra? I'm sorry, I can't see you as well, so I'm trying to find everybody.
We all need good friends like Petra, you know, when we miss out on our draw prize.
So Susan Harrison asked, have you had to deal with leachate from your worm bins? And if so, how do you treat, use, or not use it?
Sunday, I believe it's Sunday. Sunday, we don't have to really worry about that because we use really big bins. And we use a lot of carbon material in there that soaks up a lot of the leachate. And we also keep the moisture level on the lower end of things, which further, you know, saves us from having to deal with leachate. That being said, I know leachate is a very common problem with at-home worm bins. Most of them are built to accommodate for the leachate. I have heard differing opinions. The general consensus is that you're not supposed to use it on the garden. I never really bought that. You know, there was a suggestion that, you know, maybe there's some pathogenic microorganisms in there. Personally, I found that always hard to believe. I figured if you were running a healthy worm bin, that wasn't smelling bad, that, you know, had the ecosystem running the way it was supposed to, that there was no reason not to use your leachate. As I'm saying that, I'm putting 2 and 2 together, which is that if your leachate is sitting for any amount of time, that might be where the problems become, because the leachate could become anaerobic, and that's when you're going to be growing the bad guys instead of the good guys. So that's sort of a, you know, I'm hedging my answer on that. But I guess one way to know would be to test the leachate and see what microorganisms you're finding in there.
Yeah, my partner's in the soil food web school, and he did look under the microscope at our leachate and decided that he was going to bubble it and dilute
cool.
it and use it. So, but I'm looking for any research that anyone in our scene might be aware of. I don't know if there is any, and it would be a cool graduate study project to inform us, because I asked that question in a Facebook group, and I got the complete gamut of responses that you can imagine. Oh yeah, it's wonderful. Oh yeah, it's horrible. So it would be good to know, because these systems, the home systems, do seem to it's either too dry or you have leachate.
Right. And that's, we have the benefit of working on such a big scale that we have bigger windows for those things. But you just reminded me of something, which is that, and perhaps you've heard this from your partner already, that Exactly.
Fair.
Cool. Yeah, I think that leachate will be some great compost tea, though.
Well, we'll see.
For sure.
If we don't kill it, we'll make it better.
Exactly. Whatever doesn't kill it makes it stronger. Thanks, Sunday.
Thank you.
All right. So are we ready for the next giveaway? Okay. Nope. Colleen's still working on that.
It just came up the same person, so I just have to keep hitting the.
Wow, that person's really lucky. She's got her best friend advocating on her behalf, and she's won the draw twice now.
Yeah, that's what happens with the random selectors. Did I ask you the question from Maria? Would you say all worm compost is more beneficial than not? I think you answered that already.
Yeah, I would say definitely whatever worm castings you can get your hand on, they're going to be of benefit.
And from Sharon, she had heard the daffodils and some other plants are toxic and shouldn't be planted with produce. Do these toxins leach into the soil, and would it cause problems with the produce?
I've never heard that. I guess I'll open it up maybe to the attendees. Has anybody else heard about this issue with daffodils?
What is the issue?
That Sharon is wondering that daffodils are toxic and should not be planted with edible crops.
Well, that's interesting, because I was just told that you can eat the root and the actual flower are edible. But I guess it could maybe somehow still be.
Tulips, dear. No, tulips are, daffodils are not.
Oh, okay. So someone else, Rosemary's saying that she's heard them as a natural pesticide. I'm not sure, Maria, but I would be happy to do some research on that if you'd like. If you want to put your email in the chat, I'd be happy to look it up tomorrow and get back to you. It's an interesting question, and I'd love to know the science behind it. That's why I'm offering to look it up. But unfortunately, I don't have an answer for you right now. Okay, so we have our next winner coming in. And so for the second bag of soil booster, we have Annika McLean. Annika, are you here? Oh, no. Oh, she's here. She's here. I see you. Yay. Okay, awesome. Whoop, whoop. Okay. So Annika, just throw your contact into the chat there, please. And are there any other questions? Oh, we're at 8:30, so maybe we should wrap it up. Maybe I'll turn it over to you, Rhonda.
Yes, just to say thank you so much. 20 years ago, I remember going to the Guelph Organic Conference and hearing Dr. Elaine Ingham speak, and she just totally blew my mind. And so it was coming back to all of those just magnificent relationships, interactions between all of the microbes in the soil and plants. I just love hearing that again and again. So thank you for bringing that. And I hope everyone remembered at least one little story that they can take away and share with other people about that. So there are going to be other showings of this webinar. You're going to be doing it again. We've recorded it, so we will post it on the TUG website for people to look at. So definitely share the information with your friends and colleagues. And thanks everyone for coming tonight on a gorgeous night when we could all be gardening. Instead, we were cultivating our brains. And thank you, Janet and Rena, for joining us tonight and bringing some news about the Toronto East End Climate Collective. I recommend everyone to join in.
That was great. Thank you.
Thank you. Well,
So
thank you.
There was one more question if you wanted to do that while we're waiting.
I missed it.
Says, I've assumed organic vegetables has more nutritional value than non-organic.
Yes, so actually some very interesting research just came out on this recently. I believe the name of the author is Lord Abbey. And I know because the Compost Council sent it out. And effectively what he's been able to show is that he's been able to prove higher levels of nutrient value in plants that have been grown with compost versus chemicals and without. So definitely take a look at his research if you want to see the science.
As Sunday pointed out, Lord Abbey used to work at the Green Barn at the stop.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Among many other wonderful things that he's done, that was one.
Wow. Well, it is a small community. And again, that's why I'm so honored to have been able to present. I know there's a lot of people on here that know much more about some of this than I do. So hopefully I've been able to share a little bit. And again, if anybody wants to reach out, I'm happy to respond directly in emails.
Thank you for making it so understandable. And